Welcome back. Um, Before I go into the article and what's happened, I'm just gonna put a scenario in front of you. If someone has committed an act of terrorism and they've been they've been caught and then they've been detained and gone to court and got a jail sentence and they've been given a jail amount of time that they have to be in jail. Does that seem fair to you and me? So if someone's gotten, let's say they've got 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, however many, um, so let's say they've got 40 years in jail. That's what that terrorist has been given, and that person has killed 6 people in a place of worship. So they and whatever else that's gone on. So 40 years seems about fine. If not, it should be more. So that's the scenario, and that's what you'd expect. And if you saw that someone's committed an act of terrorism and they've killed, and that's resulted in them killing 6 people on innocent worshippers at their place of worship, and you saw that on the news, and they were given say 40 years. That's it. That's what they given. Now, let's say that's been given, so it's official. They've got 40 years in prison, but now um because the judge who gave the initial sentence, they reduced the sentence to um like he'll be eligible for parole after 25 years because the punishment was harsh. Does that seem right? I don't think it seems right whatsoever, because you've committed an act of terrorism. You knew what you were doing. You killed 6 people. You've impacted their families. There's the whole community. So any punishment that you can get is not harsh. 50, 60, 70, 80 life in prison is not harsh. You deal with the consequences. You cannot bring those 6 lives back. So 40 years is not harsh. And the fact that the judge has reduced it to 25 years, they can apply for parole. That judge they need to have a background check on the judge to ensure that he or she is not related to, part of, in cahoots with any of those people, they're related people that are all to do with it, because you gave a sentence at the time, taking all the information and giving a sentence, which was fine, 40 years. What is the need to reduce it to 25 years? You can get parole. Like, reducing it, does that so technically, does that bring back those people who died? Does that make it easier for those families? Does that make it easier for the community? Does that make it easier for those people who go to that place of worship and now they're a bit more faithful? Does that make it easier for them? Does that make it easier for the workers of the mosque? Does that make it easier for the imam of the mosque? No, it does not. He cannot make it easier. He cannot bring those people back from the dead. Why should you? The punishment was not harsh. Why should you reduce it now? If anything, you should increase it. Absolutely disgraceful. And I'm not gonna say from where, what happened, which city, those things. Then you'll say, oh, it's because he's this, or because he wasn't that, or because he's like, you'll paint a picture of your own. I'm just giving you a general scenario. That person that I'm describing could be any ethnicity, any religion, any color, anything. But I'm just putting the scenario in front, and I'm pretty sure you know who I'm referring to anyway. But I just wanted to put a general scenario in front. So 40 years initially. Now all of a sudden, for some reason, it's harsh, and he can get parole in 25 years. That's not acceptable. And I saw it like, I think 3 or 4 days ago, and by the time I put it out, it'll probably be like a week old or 10 days old. But I just wanted to say that it's not acceptable and show you and make sure that it doesn't go unnoticed that a terrorist responsible for killing 6 people in their place of worship, has got their sentence reduced. Reduced. Murderers don't get their sentence, generally do not get their sentence reduced. Drug dealers do not get their sentence generally don't get their sentence reduced. Rapists do not get their sentence reduced. Any crime you think of, generally people do not get their sentence. I'm not saying those people should get the sentence reduced, is the ones that I just named, but I'm saying if they do not get the sentence reduced, why should this terrorist who is also a murderer, killed 6 people and ruined plenty of families too, why should he get his sentence reduced? That's all I'm saying. Yeah, so I've just said that, and hope you realize and realize that terrorists, their sentences are getting reduced without everyone realizing. Were the families of those, were those that were killed, or were they consulted? Were the imams and the workers of the Muslim community um were they contacted or consulted? Were the worshippers that go to that mosque that can't, that might be fearful of going now because of what happened, were they contacted? Was anyone that's relevant contacted? You just made it at your own accord to reduce it. So I just wanted to say that, make you aware that a terrorist has got his sentence reduced for no reason whatsoever, other than that the first initial sentence was harsh, which it wasn't. You've killed 6 lives. If anything, prison for life, stay there and you'll die there. That's what should be happening. That's not harsh. That's not radical. You've killed people. You've killed people. If you kill one person, you get 20 years. You've killed 20 times 6 is 120. You will not live to 120. So you should get, well, I don't think you will live to 120. You should stay in prison until you die there. 40 years is lenient, if anything. So why would you reduce 40 years to 25 with parole? That is absolutely unacceptable. That judge should get checked again. Probably shouldn't be in court ever again. 40 years completely acceptable. Hope you understand what I've just said. And until next time, I'll leave it here.